I don't know what's out there. That's not a cougar. It's not a coyote. I don't know what the fuck that shit is.
Found weird things, heard weird things, seen weird things.
There must be someone watching me.
It was too much for me. It was too scary, too eerie that there was this constant repeated noise. We grew up in the woods, so it was not like we weren't used to weird noises.
Hi, my name's Reese, and this is part 2 of my urban legend exploration. Today we're talking about the Hidebehind. Tales of the evasive creature seem to have originated in the early 19th century in logging communities across the northern United States as a way to cope with the unexplained disappearances and deaths of loggers. Today, though, the Hidebehind has made its way into popular culture through Disney's Gravity Falls, the extended Harry Potter universe, and most famously, my web series Cobblestone, which you can watch by following the link in the description. I first stumbled across the Hidebehind in this incredible little book called Forbidden Land, Strange Events in the Black Forest, Volume 1. It doesn't have much to say about the creature, which I really appreciate because how the hell would anyone know anything about it anyway? But here, I'll read it to you. The Indians told about the Hidebehind, the most dreaded of strange forest animals. No one ever saw one of the creatures because they always hid behind a tree, but everyone knew that they often followed travelers through the woods. If a person was afraid of them and kept looking back, the Hidebehind would torment him into a panic. It took a brave man to be the last in line with the group walking through the woods. Old woodsmen said the only way to overcome the fear of the Hidebehinds was to ignore them. I love that because it's simple enough to be terrifying and still allow your imagination to run wild with it. But as I did more research, I found a bunch of different descriptions of what it looks like and how it actually devours its victims. Some say they've caught glimpses of it out of the corner of their eye and claim that it's tall and slender with huge bear-like claws on either hand. There are reports of it having long and shaggy black fur that cover its entire body to the point where you can't distinguish any of its features or even which way it's facing, but I like to imagine that they're much smaller, sort of like a squirrel, and just dart around the trees and snatch people up before they even knew what hit them. And then there are conflicting explanations of what it actually does. The most common thing I found is that it slashes out its victims' intestines with its razor-sharp claws and then drags them through the woods to be eaten in privacy. Others say that it simply works people up into such a panic that by the time they turn around and see it, they die of fright. But almost everyone agrees that its one weakness is alcohol. Let's go for a hike. What I like most about the Hidebehind is that it can't really be explained away, right? Like it's kind of infallible in its ability to just exist in the world. But like it makes sense because humans have evolved to have a fear of the unknown, especially in like nature or the woods, you know? It's scary to not be able to see things or to not know what made the creepy sound you just heard. And so your mind's gonna inevitably jump to the most horrifying conclusion. And ultimately, like, that's what keeps you safe. If you weren't afraid of anything, you'd get mauled by a bear or bitten by a snake and die. So that's probably how the legend came to exist. Like, people get lost in the woods and never make it out. They hear things or see things you can't explain. Maybe it's less than that even. Maybe it's just like an uneasy feeling you have and you have no idea why you have it. Blame it on the Hidebehind. And yeah, I've got some spooky unexplained stories of my own, but I already sound like a crazy person, so I asked some of my more outdoorsy friends if they've got any unexplained experiences while hiking or camping, and most of them do.
So a friend and I were backpacking in central Pennsylvania, and this just sound started. I can't even replicate it for you.
Yeah, but try.
I can't, right? Because it was one of those sounds that woke me up from a dream, but started in the dream. And then I woke up and it was still happening.
Oof.
I was like, I don't know what's out there. That's not a frog. That's not a cougar. It's not a coyote. I don't know what the fuck that shit is. And then I heard my friend unzip his tent. And I'm like, what is he doing? There's this mystery sound outside and he's going out into the dark. He didn't die. And the next morning I was like, that's some bold shit. He was like, I had to pee. You got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do.
So I hiked the AT in fall of 2016, went south from Maine to Georgia. Sometimes I would hike in the night and try not to use a light at all. Eventually your eyes kind of get used to it and you just walk along the trail, and if you start hitting branches, you know you're off the trail. So you kind of do it by feel and by sound. And especially when I hiked like that, it would oftentimes feel like there could be anyone beyond my field of vision right now because my field of vision is so small. It's pitch black. There must be someone watching me. So a lot of times I would put in like earbuds during those times to try to drown out the uneasiness.
Found weird things, heard weird things, seen weird things. Like one time I was actually hiking with Tom in Shenandoah. We like took this trail down off of the mountain, and then we tried taking this creek bed back up because we wanted to see it because it was really pretty and cool. And I like very irresponsibly, I was just like, yeah, we could probably just find our way back if we just go up. Like all you have to do is go up, and we totally got lost. It was getting dark, and it's starting to get cold, and we're just like going through brambles and stuff, trying like to beeline for the like road. And then we just started hearing all kinds of like, you know, the type of thing you hear when you're like just panicking a little bit, and like it's starting to get dark, so you can't really see that well, and your eyes are kind of like compensating. And yeah, so we started hearing all kinds of freaky noises because there's a lot of animals there too.
The weirdest part about the hike in was that there were no sounds in the forest at all. Like right now there are bugs and birds and creatures and you can hear them, and the only time that it's silent is right before something scary shows up. And this hike into the rainforest, there was nothing. It was silent the whole time. And I start to hear this noise off behind me, and it's always back over my right shoulder. And I keep stopping and turning around, and finally I told my brother that I think that something's following us, that maybe it's a puma, that this is just not a smart time for us to be out in this area. We really didn't prepare for this. We don't have bear spray. Can you even use bear spray on pumas? But every time I turn back, there's nothing there. It was too much for me. It was too scary, too eerie that there was this constant repeated noise, the same noise every time. We grew up in the woods, so it was not like we weren't used to weird noises. So we got back in our car and we drove another hour back out on all of these windy logging roads and made camp by a lake in a tent instead because it was just too much. Yeah.
Now, can all of these occurrences be attributed to the Hidebehind? Maybe. Who am I to say? All I know is that there are unexplained things that happen in the woods, and sometimes it's nice to think you got an explanation for them. Regardless, if you ever find yourself lost or with a sense of dread emanating from the pit of your stomach, just get drunk and forget about it. But for real, if you can't do that, just keep moving forward and remember to never look behind you.